Live in the City of Angels, Tuesday afternoon. Let's watch the Odyssey, Christopher Nolan's latest. The trailer just dropped last night. I have not seen 1 second of this. Of course, the first trailer, not the second trailer. I save these things for when we do them live. So let's do that right now. I'll take as many comments as possible, your thoughts on this, and I will stop as needed throughout this 2+ minute trailer as we get rolling here on this Tuesday. I felt some fan music in the background that's inspired by the music that you hear in the trailer, so we'll see. We'll find out momentarily. Get ready to do it here. Let's pop this out of here. Let's pop this in. Wrong one. There it is. And here we go. This is the trailer for Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, coming out July 16th. Let's watch and discuss now on MMT.
Tell me what you remember.
A wife? A son.
And then what?
We won the war. Help me go home.
I'll tell you, you look at Damon's beard, he really grew it out, right? And he let the gray fully go. Good for him, because we are of a similar era, the two of us.
This is a household waiting for master.
And we love Pattinson, obviously. You know that Nolan does as well. I mean, you look at Tenet, man, guys. Wow. I wish you had a chance to see that in theaters. A lot of you didn't. I mean, you're talking about a film that didn't even get to 400 million worldwide. It did get that re-release in IMAX, but look, Tenet is such a cool theatrical experience. Hopefully you got a chance. Continue.
I want you to choose me.
Ithaca's king is coming back.
No, he's not.
What would he do if he came back here and find all these suitors in his house?
They're pining me for a daddy. You didn't even know. Like some sniveling bastard.
Someone said the daddy line, right? Daddy instead of father. Okay, let's continue.
Who's looking after your wife and son?
Do you see?
My dad is coming home.
Right there, right? You guys were like, why did he say my father? Hey, we can discuss that. Let's continue, but I know that's a point of contention here.
Bringing vengeance.
Bringing it all.
It's funny, can I just say that Matt Damon has a certain gait when he runs, right? Just the way he just did that. Every time you see Matt Damon take off, it's exactly the same thing, because we do have the way we do things, and he runs a very specific way. By the way, can I just say this again? First time watching this. Have you gotten any of what I just said from anyone else that's doing this? No, listen, AI is never going to be able to do MMT. There's no way. And no other person on the planet can do it, because we are unique in our vision.
I need everyone at this party dead.
I can still save them.
You're a man who needs to control his fate. But you cannot control this. That world is gone.
No one could stand between me.
Obviously, you get all the cinematography, just all that shot, you see the shot. I mean, that's all there. You're going to get that with Nolan. We know that. Technically, he is as good as anybody ever in the history of cinema.
And home. Not even the gods.
Keep us straight!
All right, there it is. So, listen, I know there's a lot of debate about one thing in particular. Lupita Nyong'o And the fact that Helen of Troy, fair-skinned. Okay, I get it. Listen, let's just start with that. Okay, I know that's like the big hot button thing. Let's just discuss that. So, is it okay to have an issue with that? Of course it is, because we have issues all the time going the other way, right? When someone in a film that is supposed to be cast of a certain race is not, and they have to exit the project because they don't fit what the character was described as in the original work. We see it all the time. Okay, guys, please. So if you hear that, that kind of criticism is 100% fair. Okay, no question about it. Is it something that will wreck the film? Listen, no, highly doubtful. That said, it's fair. Okay, right? That's what we're all about here. We're always objective. It's the gold standard, because it is very much of something that you can bring to the table and not be kicked out and say, no, that's ridiculous. Okay, because we do it the other way all the time. I am all about one thing, and we'll continue here. We'll talk about this for a little bit. And you look at the ability to admit on one side the exact same thing on the other. You got to be fair. You cannot just say, in this instance, because I believe in this, it's right, but in this case, no. It's applied across the board. It is not something you just apply to the things you believe in. That's not acceptable, okay? Certainly here, it's definitely not. So that is valid. As far as Holland saying dad instead of father, let's talk about Christopher Nolan as a writer. Okay, he writes very interesting films. I think that's obviously very fair to say, but I also believe that he's a stronger technical director than a writer. Not to suggest he's not a strong writer, okay? I'm not saying that he can't do the writing and directing. What I'm saying is when you look at the cracks in the Nolan films, it's typically going to go back to writing. Look at a Tenet. I mean, it's very difficult to follow. I don't care what anyone tells you, like what is happening. But again, it's a cinematic event. It's a experience, okay? So when you talk about dad versus father, these are things that, listen, he'll make that mistake. And maybe it is, maybe it isn't. That's up for debate as well. You talk about the issue that I think you see in a lot of Nolan's films, and hopefully we don't get here with the Odyssey, but it is problematic, is the ability to land emotion. You talk about just kind of a sterile film, like an Oppenheimer, right? I mean, you look at, obviously the character, but still the inability to imbue emotion into the film. That is something that I think he struggles at. I don't believe he did struggle at all when you talk about an Interstellar, which is his best film. There's no contest. Okay, this is not up for debate. Interstellar is Christopher Nolan's greatest film. And the reason it is because of that profuse infusion of emotion throughout that film. The daddy-daughter relationship. Now, people will say, poor Timothée Chalamet, no one cares about the son. But you look at that core, it's there and you feel it, right? You get all of the Nolan stuff technically, but you also get that emotion. That is what we're talking about when we talk about Christopher Nolan. Is his best work is without question Interstellar. And so this is the issue with the Odyssey. Will he be able to land that and fit it in there? I think we see some of that here in this trailer more so, but that is up for debate. We'll find out here when it comes out July 16th. I do want to mention this in case you didn't see it. This film apparently is going to be shorter than Oppenheimer, which came in at 180 minutes. Okay, so if it's 179 minutes, it's shorter than that film. That's what it'll probably be when Nolan says it is going to be shorter, 179 minutes instead of 180. It's not going to come in at 2 hours. It's going to be 240 is my guess, 245. It's not going to be anything less than that. But, listen, we talk about this all the time on MMT, and I'm certain, trust me when I say this, Nolan is on Twitter. Nolan has come across MMT. Trust me when I say that. What do we talk about all the time when we discuss movies? Runtime and making sure it's as lean and mean as possible. And that's a criticism that can be levied at Christopher Nolan as well, because you have to be able to get rid of stuff out of your film if it doesn't serve the overall effectiveness of the film, and you're dragging here or dragging there. We've got to tighten it up. We've got to make it just sing with a really tight runtime. And now this film's going to require a longer runtime, but still, within whatever that is, you still need to be at the most efficient version of the film that you can make. It's that simple. It really is. So this is just released a few days ago, this announcement. He did an article and said, hey, did an interview and said, hey, it's going to be shorter. Let's go over the top 10. I'll get to the top 10 grossing films for Nolan, then I'll get to some comments. So number 1 is Dark Knight Rises at $1,000,000,084. Dark Knight is at $1,000,000,003. Oppenheimer at 972. Inception 828. Interstellar 678. Dunkirk 526. Batman Begins 373. Tenet 365. And Insomnia 113. Prestige is 109. Memento 39. Following 126,000. Thank you, Reddit, for doing the work for me here today. But you look at that and you talk about a film. I mentioned Tenet, 2020, right in the height of COVID, when we were told if you go to theaters, you'll kill everyone you know, and they know, and they know. It's just domino effect. You go to the movies and you'll virtually wipe out probably half the population of Chicago. That's what we were told. So because we were sold that, the propaganda, yeah, I'll do it. It's my stream. We were sold the propaganda of COVID so much so that a lot of you bought into that bullshit, versus I drove to Vegas to watch Tenet and I had to mask up and all that crap because I was told that everyone will die. I did get to see Tenet in theaters in the height of COVID, and somehow, I don't know how it happened, guys. It's really wild. If someone can come explain to me, I don't know. I didn't die. And I don't think I killed anyone for doing that. If I did, man, I don't think I did, but boy, that'd be awful. But you never know. I mean, because again, it was such a dangerous time that we had to shut down everything. And we had a number of critics, the big loser body that is critics. It's not safe. You can't. I'll drag them. In fact, screw the rest of the stream. I'll drag them for the rest of the stream. I will do that forever because those guys are the biggest bunch of beta bitches on the planet, and I fucking bury you every day. There it is. I knew I'd get it in sooner or later. That's for the critics out there that couldn't hang with me for a second. And because you guys are a bunch of, let's just stop. I'm going to get nasty. Get ready. It's time for comment time. Listen, it's live. And all of a sudden I get to COVID, I get to Tenet. You see, it just happens. It's live. You're not going to get this from your boy Jeremy Johns. You're not going to get this from your girl Grace Randolph. You're not going to get this from Milquetoast Wallpaper Stuckman. You're not going to get that. Go watch it. Don't care. I mean, seriously, enjoy that all you want. That's not what I do. I do the real deal here. We're the gold standard for a fucking reason. End of discussion. All right, let's get to it. I mean, listen, the trailer's solid. You talk about this film, it's in a great spot, same essential release date that we had on Tenet, and that seems to be the home for Nolan, and it just makes sense because it has the end of July to run. It has pretty much all of August, because August typically is pretty barren at the multiplex. We do have some films that come up occasionally. Look at Guardians of the Galaxy out of nowhere mid-August and ended up doing the numbers it did. But that film's a great film, right? It's the best of James Gunn's work. But, it's rare. So when you talk about a film that's able to completely finish up the summer and run into fall, you're talking about an Odyssey. And this is a film that is, even though is the rating out yet? It's definitely not R. There's no way they'd make it R. He'd find a way to make it. Is it R? I haven't looked. But either way, this is a film that their parents are going to bring kids to, right? It's a history lesson. So it's almost a 4-quad film. Not for little kids, but it's not. It's bigger than what you may think, because the name, the brand Nolan is so much larger than virtually any director in space. I mean, is there another director? You could say Denis, but again, not as big as Nolan. I mean, Nolan's an event. It doesn't matter what he does. You're going to get the turnout. You're going to get all of the hardcore cinephilic fans here, and you're going to get all the format, right? The format really expands when you get to a Nolan. You talk about the PLFs. You talk about the 70 millimeter IMAX. Everything here shot on IMAX. So you're talking about, when you look at an IMAX situation, this is as big as it gets for them. In fact, I would argue, 75% of people want to see this in IMAX. Most people would just pass on seeing it in another format. You look at Universal City Walk. I'm going up there here. I don't know if it's tonight or tomorrow. I got to figure out which night, but it's the last 2 nights for Michael in IMAX. So I'm going to go see it at City Walk, because City Walk has the biggest IMAX in LA. I don't know if the one down at downtown's open. I'm not going to downtown. Listen, as far as I'm concerned, there is no downtown IMAX in downtown LA. I don't need to have my car completely ripped to shreds by everyone peeling stuff off of it, and I come out and there's nothing but a shell. I mean, and I don't even drive a Ferrari. The point is that downtown LA is fucking Gotham City. I'm not going anywhere near downtown LA. No chance. I mean, no way. Universal safe. It's got its own sheriff station up there and a huge IMAX. So I'm going to go see Michael. But you talk about, sorry, to the side, when you look at that being the IMAX 70 millimeter Universal, right? The studio that's bringing this out, that thing will be sold out for the entire month, 2 months. I mean, you can't, last second, you might get a seat up in the front. When you talk about IMAX City Walk, you don't want to be anywhere near the front. You can't see shit. It is the biggest screen, and you're just like going, craning your neck straight up. You really want to be in like the back row. That's how big the screen is and how I'd say poorly aligned the seats are, really, because it needs to be just a little further back from the screen when they designed that. But they only had so much room as City Walk. You got to worry about Universal Studios and all that shit. But when you look at it, you want to be near the back. So I'm going to see Michael. I doubt I'm going to see Tenet. I doubt I'm going to see Odyssey over there, unless there's a press screening and I decide to go. It's always listen, I might actually go to the press screening of this, but it's always just, I told you guys, I don't like going to those things. I have to look around and see people like we talked about, the COVID freaks who almost ruined theaters for everybody, and then they pretend they didn't do that, right? The scaredy cats that almost ended it all for us, and now they want to pretend and rewrite history they didn't do that. No. I've got receipts. You have them. You know that. Don't pretend. Don't all of a sudden try to do revisionist history with me. Oh, fucking no chance, bro. We're not doing that. And I think that's the thing. A lot of these critics, we talk about this. Let's just quickly, and I'll get to comments. Promise, this is it. When I talk about this, you guys don't understand. I say this every stream, and if I ever have a new audience, I'll do it every time. The vast majority of critics are hard left. I mean, hard fucking left. I'm talking as far radically left as you can imagine. That makes them completely unreliable. They're not, you just don't even listen to them because they have agendas. We saw it with Michael. You cannot be hard left, hard right in the critic space. You can't. You have to be as centrist as possible to be fair to these things and be objective. That doesn't mean I don't come down on one side or the other. But the point is when you got these critics who are so far left, they're pushing these hard left ideas in their head. That's how they believe. Like, look, Scott Menzel sent a tweet out today. Look, it's my stream. I'll do what I want. I'm going to the gym, by the way. I'm not going to be here for an hour. I got to go. I got to do back day today. Yeah, I know, right? The only critic who actually goes to the gym and has the proof. Here's the truth. You look at Menzel. He sent a tweet saying, like, Karen Bass hasn't done shit for this city, and we've got to get this under control. He didn't say that. That's what I would say. He'd say it's a mess. And Spencer Pratt might be, the answer. I don't think he mentioned that. And then, of course, you have the cacophony of left-wing losers who can't even recognize that Karen Bass is a complete failure. And they go, well, we have to. No, you don't have to support her. She's done shit for this town. She's ruined it. And what are you talking about? These people, you're disingenuous, and the film space is full of left-wing. And I'll tell you what, if you're left-wing, you're useless. You are useless. You're a useless person. If you're hard right, frankly, to me, you're frankly pretty much useless too. Although I'd rather hang out with someone who's far right than far left. I'm not going to lie about that, because the far left is Looney Tunes, man. This shit's crazy. These people are nuts, and these critics are of that ilk. And I'm telling you, this is why you get the reviews you get. For a Michael, for whatever it is, they're going to insert their agendas, and they're going to bring in their beliefs, and it makes them just useless. And, I'm just, there it is. I listen, I'll do what I want. My fucking stream. And I'm right. I'm 100% right. That's why we're the gold standard. No one touches MMT. No one. On Reddit, people are going nuts with the word dad. Exactly. We mentioned that. And again, okay, so yeah, maybe not the choice I'd make. But again, what did I say when we discussed that? I think Nolan is a writer. Will make mistakes more than as a technical director. Anyone should be able to see that. So that is something that I wish he had someone nearby, wife, family, someone who could say, hey, listen, what about this? Go over it. I think the problem with any of these people when they get this big, like a Nolan, like a Denis, anybody, you get so big, you are not going to listen to anyone. That's the issue. You always got to have someone around you who's going to tell you the truth, who's going to have great advice. And I'm telling you, the consultant firm of MMT is always available. Seriously, I'd be like, nah, change that. Do this, do this. I mean, listen, for Nolan's not going to be a lot. For other films, it's going to be like pages and pages and pages of notes / let's Batgirl this motherfucker because this is bad. It's just terrible. I mean, sometimes you just have to do it. The dialogue in the trailer is terrible, hoping it's not the final version. Visuals are okay, nothing awe-inspiring. Damon's too stiff for that role. Unintentionally comical ending. Listen, I got to see the film. I'm not going to sit here and say, I'm going to tell you this. I've seen this version, right? I don't even hate Troy, right, with Brad Pitt. I think it's, for what it is, it's pretty solid. It's certainly better than a Gladiator 2. Remember when people thought that was good? I was like, what? What are we doing? Seriously? Gladiator fucking 2 is terrible. So, listen, I'm going to reserve my judgment. I like to watch the trailer, say, does it work? I think it serves its purpose. Am I blown away by any of this? I think the problem is, for a lot of us, we've already seen so much. So when you look at an Odyssey trailer, like, here's another version of a tale we've seen before, and obviously I just mentioned a Troy, but any big epic, and that's the thing is, when you go and you look at it, you just don't have that wow factor of like, what am I watching? Something original. And I think you talk about a film like a Project Hail Mary, it is original, even though it's based on a novel. You talk about, I think, audiences, Sinners, even though I have problems with that film. You look at the original storytelling, I think that's where we need to go. And Odyssey is definitely not original. So I think that's maybe one of the issues you're having with that. And understandable, because I think that, that's a fair thing. Just like we mentioned with Lupita Nyong'o. Same thing. I think it's fair. It's 100% fair. We'll talk about Evil Dead Burn on Sunday. I'll save that one. I'm just going to do this for today. And then we'll come back on Thursday. We got the Mortal Kombat 2 live reaction coming up on Thursday night about 7:30 here from Los Angeles. I'll go see it and we'll talk about that. Never saw the first one, so whatever we get, we get. By the way, a little love. Okay, listen, again, for those of you who've never watched MMT, I want you to understand something. All the graphics you see on your screen are created by me. I did all this. Do you see? This is all new for today. I said, because this is what I get more fun out of now, is actually the graphic design. And I go, look, I need you to answer this because we're going to 30 and that's it. You've got like 8 minutes. Does anybody in the space do this? And by themselves? I don't outsource this shit. This isn't at Fiverr. I don't have somebody else. I'm doing all this. Everything that you see is from me. So there we go. I don't know if it's RPG. Let's check that. I have no idea. Does someone know? Come in the comments. Let's see. Let's put in the Odyssey. You say, well, Weber, how come you don't know? Because, listen, I've got other things in my life. I don't sit around going, what's the rate? It's expected to be rated R. It's not rated yet. Hold on, let me get rid of this. Let me hit present screen. It says here it's expected to because of graphic violence. And I think that would make sense. I mean, listen, let's talk about this. It doesn't really matter if it's R, because you look at a Deadpool Wolverine, you don't think kids went to see that. So, look, it doesn't matter because we saw it with Oppenheimer. R, PG-13, it's not going to change. Oh, or did it just get an R? I don't know. Who knows? I don't even know. This guy, Christian Harloff, is saying in 2025 it receives an R rating. Really? How does he know that? How does he know that a year ago when it's not even out? Unbelievable. All right, a couple more comments. We're out of here on this Tuesday. But listen, if you like what you see, like, subscribe. It's on Midnight Movie Talk on YouTube. If you're watching on X, you can find us there. Any of the old screens. I got to see Tenet in theaters. Had to travel to New Jersey. Yeah, right. I had to travel, as I said, for me to go all the way to Vegas. 4-hour drive, and then we turned around and came back. Awful. It's kind of a mess. But it also, with that score, the Ludwig score is just like, right? And you got the Travis Scott track. It's a mishmash, right? It's got so much going on in that film. Hard to keep track of where we're even going. But again, as an experience, you're talking about, the Nolan, the whole deal, right? No CGI. I mean, that's what he says. I mean, the Whirlpool, I'm sure they really created one. There has to be some. There always is going to be some. But I think he's going to keep it minimal. Right? There's always going to be some. And remember, I tell you the story. If I haven't told you the story, I'll tell you quickly before we get out of here. We have less than 5 minutes. when you look at a film like Roma, okay, a lot of you don't know Roma had so much visual effects, so many. And you know how I know? This is because I'm the ace and I get my information directly from the source. I'm going to an awards party that year. You probably heard the story if you've watched MMT, but I'm walking in and there's a guy with me. And he's like, "Hey, what's your name?" Say, we start talking. I said, "What do you do?" He said, I worked on the effects for Roma." I'm like, "The effects for Roma? What are you talking about? The effects for fucking Roma?" The Roma's like, I mean, what did you do? He pulls out his phone, okay? Pulls out his phone and he starts showing me the before and after. Because he has it all, he has the stuff right here. He's like, look, here's the scene before, here's the stuff after. That long tracking shot of her walking through Mexico, and she's like, here, that's all CGI. All those things are created with a computer. Netflix didn't want you to know that. So to my point, Nolan can say that CGI is not here, but trust me, it is. I mean, they're just not going to, here's the thing is, they won't push it for best effects, just like they didn't push Roma because they want to keep it a little secret. It's kind of like the AI use now, right? Let's not talk about that. Was it used? Let's just not even bring it up, right? I don't know if Nolan's losing it all elite. I mean, we'll find out. But I understand, again, going back to the Nyong'o thing, it's fair. It's 100% fair because the book says fair skin, Greek, right? We know the race. We know. So, again, if you have a problem with anything else being race swapped, then what's the deal? Then again, be consistent. That's the thing. Be consistent. Again, I'm not saying. I'm sure he does. I saw this. It said Nolan. Yeah. Listen, Luis. Here's the deal. I am certain. Trust me when I say this. I am certain that we have had more than one major director watch the show. I'm certain of it. So here's the deal: is the reason because when they watch, they go, "This guy doesn't have an agenda." It's that simple. I mean, when you don't have an agenda, that makes you very appealing because in this world, agendas are virtually had by everyone. And that, again, makes you a unique situation. I've long found Nolan to be a poor writer of dialogue. He either underwrites it like the dad or let's go lines or overwrites it to the point where it doesn't sound like natural human discussion. This is a great comment. Eric, welcome to the channel. If you're still here, I'm sorry I didn't get to it earlier, but it's very fair. And I think that, again, back to the writing's the weak part of Nolan. It's not the filmmaking. It's the whole thing. So, all right, couple more and we're out of here. Anything else? Does he have a wife? Yeah, he does, doesn't he? Doesn't Nolan have a wife? He lives right here in Burbank. He goes to AMC 16. He goes to Burbank all the time, in the 6 and the 8, same place I go. I haven't seen him there, or if I did, I probably walked right by him and didn't notice, because he's an unassuming guy, you're not going to like, hey, it's Nolan. Plus, you don't want to bug these people. LA's like that. You run into people all the time that are famous, and you just go, I'm moving on. You don't freak out about it. The neckbeards are upset it's not accurate. Well, again, listen, I'm not saying but here's Luis, you can say this. It's not, you can't say don't have a point. That's the thing. Now, it's not going to destroy the film for me. But, if we see it as an issue, that's different. But I'm just saying, it's not unfair. I think that's what you have to talk about. I'm not going to make it everything. I'm not going to say that, oh my God, let's turn this into something. I'm going to go on and just go back and forth. No, we're not doing that. But I'm going to tell you that it's fair. Okay? Fair. That's fair. What I just said is fair. And that's MMT, the gold standard. Thanks for being here on this Tuesday. We're back on Thursday for the live MMTE of Mortal Kombat 2. Will I understand what the hell is happening? We will find out on Thursday night. I'll see you back here. Thanks for being here live from LA. The stream's over. Enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.